Hi, welcome back to Concept Mastery Primary 4, and we are going to look at angles and construction. Alright, now the lesson today is going to be very easy, but it will take a while, maybe about at least 30 minutes, hopefully not more than 30 minutes, hopefully, but I think it will take about 40 minutes, alright, 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, now let's look at how we identify angles. Now we have looked at angles in primary 3 and we talk about right angles in primary 3. So how do you actually recognize a right angle? A right angle is identified by L shape. If you see two lines that form L shape, then it is a right angle. For example, you see these two lines. So they form a L. So it is a right angle, and you put a right angle box there. So a right angle is identified by a box. Alright, so you can see a few L's. Alright, there are a few L's. Like over here, there's also another L. So you have a right angle. But is it good to test, right? Test in this way. Well, if you can recognize the L very easily, right? It's very easily recognizable. Then that is a right angle. But what happens if you are not sure? Alright, not sure whether it looks like a right angle, then you will need to use a ruler. Alright, so a ruler to help you to test. Alright, to test whether it is a right angle. So let's test one of the angle. For example, let's put the ruler on any one of the two red lines. Okay, let's test this angle. So let's put the ruler on any one of the red lines, and you can see it forms L shape, right? You can see it forms the ruler has corners, right? Corners, and the ruler has actually a very nice L shape that forms a right angle. So if you see the L shape fit nicely onto the corner of the ruler, then that is your right angle. Now you can also turn the ruler the other way and put it on the other side of the red line, or on the other red line, and you can see it also forms a L shape. So so this is a right angle. Okay, so how about this angle? Same thing. How do you know whether this is a right angle? You just put your ruler on any one of the red line, alright, and you can see that it forms a L shape around the corner of the ruler. Okay, alright, now so how many right angles in this part A? There are 2 right angles. Alright, how about the other part B? How many right angles are there? So you have 4 right angles. If you notice carefully, they all form a very nice L shape, right? L shapes. Okay. Then how about the other angles inside the figure? Now they don't form a L shape, but if you are not sure, how do you test whether is that angle a right angle? Alright, so let's put our ruler onto this straight line, and then let's see how it looks like. So if I were to place my ruler onto this straight line, you can see the other line goes inside the ruler. Alright, so once the other line goes inside the ruler, it is not a right angle. Alright, how about the other red line? Can we place our ruler on the other red line? Yes, we can. So you just place your ruler onto the other red line, and you see the red line, right, is going inside the ruler, right? Correct? So once you see the line goes inside, then that is not a right angle. So what angle is that? That is actually called an acute angle. Acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Alright, is you will see the line going inside the ruler. Okay, now let's go to part C. Now part C, how many right angles are there? There are 1 and 2. Alright, so you actually have 2 right angles. And then there's a angle here that looks like a right angle. So is that a right angle? Now, if you're not sure, you need to put your ruler. Alright, sometimes it's better to test using the ruler. So I'm going to just erase the red lines so that you see the original black line. Okay, so let's put our ruler on one of the lines. Okay, for example, I want to test this angle. Is that a right angle? You place your ruler onto one of the black lines, and what do you see? You can see that the other black line is coming out. Alright, over here, you can see the other black line is coming out. So that line is coming out. Alright, if you notice. Alright, and if you place your ruler the other side, okay, let's place it the other side. Something like this. And you put it onto the other side of the angle, and you can see the line is coming out as well. Alright, so this line, okay, this line okay, that line is coming out. Okay, so let me just draw for you over here. Okay, this line. So that line is coming out of the ruler. So that is not a right angle, even though it looks like a right angle. Okay, so you only have how many right angles? Two right angles. Alright, part D, you have none. Alright, you can see all the angles don't form a L shape, and this angle is very big. Right, so you have zero right angles. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So how do we identify acute angles? Now, acute angles, like what I mentioned, are smaller than a right angle. So they are smaller than 90 degrees. So you can see there's a star. So let's test this angle. Is this a right angle? Well, if it doesn't form a L shape, then you know that it is definitely not a right angle. But let's test. So you put your ruler on any one of the two lines that form the right angle, and you can see the other line goes inside the ruler. Can you see that? Right? Like you put your ruler on this line, and then you see this line going inside the ruler, and that's what you see. Okay, and if you do the same for all the other angles, you will see the lines going inside the ruler. So all these angles, they are less than 90 degrees, and they are called acute angles. So how many acute angles are there? There are 5 of them. All right, 5 acute angles. All right, so is there any right angle inside this diagram? Nope, you don't have any right angles. So you have 5. So angles are formed by 2 straight lines. If you notice, you form angles with 2 straight lines. Okay, now let's go and look at obtuse angle. All right, so once again, these are right angle. Right, you can see a very nice L shape. And then these 2 angles are acute angles, right? And this angle, which is very big, all right, they are bigger than 180 degrees. So they are not acute, neither are they right angles, definitely. So how about this angle? Is it a right angle, or is it acute, or is it obtuse? So what are obtuse angles? Obtuse angles are angles that are greater, more than 90 degrees, but less than 180. Alright, what is 180 degrees? How does 180 degrees look like? 180 degrees looks like a protractor, right? You see a semicircle, that is like your 180 degrees. So I'm going to place my ruler on any one of the red lines. And what do you see? You will see the other red line is coming out. You can see the coming out of the ruler. So when the line is coming out of the ruler, then it's greater than a right angle, right? But obtuse angle has to be smaller than 180. So for example, if you see these 2 very big angle, now it is bigger than 180 already. So it is not obtuse, right? We call it reflex angle, but we don't have to know that. All right, so you just have to know right angle, acute angle, and obtuse angle. So obtuse angles are angles that are bigger than the right angle and smaller than 180 degrees. Okay, so now we have identified 3 types of angle. So now let's go to the other page, and now we have to know how to measure angles. All right, so how do we measure angle ABC? Now, angles is the symbol for angle is represented by something like that, right? You can see a symbol there. So that's a symbol for angle. And how to identify this angle? Now, you have to look at the letter in the middle. So the angle is at the letter B, right? The angle is at letter B. It means that you're finding this angle, all right? The angle is near letter B, and the angle is formed by BC, right? BC and AB, right? So you have 2 lines that form the angle. So what is the angle? Now, if you look at this protractor, right, there's a protractor here. There are actually 2 zeros. If you notice carefully, there are 2 zeros. There's 1 zero, which is on this side. There's also another 0, which is on this side of the protractor. So if you notice carefully, you have 2 zeros on either side. But which zeros do you look at? Now, if you look at this side, okay, let me just dotted line. If you look at this side of the protractor, you don't see any dark line. Right, the angle or the straight lines is not on this side. But where are the two straight lines? The two straight lines are on the other side. Can you see there's one straight line, and then there is another straight line, and these two straight lines form your angle, right? So you should be looking at the 0 on the same side as the straight line. All right, the dark straight line, the red line. So you should be looking at the 0 on this side. Okay, this side. All right, and then how do you start counting? Of course, you don't count backwards. All right, you don't count from 180, 170. That's working backwards. You start from 0, and you should be looking at 10, right? 10, then 20, 30, and then there is 40, right? 40. So 40, how do you know it's 40? Because you can see there is actually a long line. Okay, let me use a different color. So on the protractor, there is a longer line over here. That's a longer line. So that is your 40 degrees, and it's not 140, because 140 you are counting from the other 0. All right, so if you are counting from the right side, which is a 0 on the right side, you should be counting 0, 10, 20, 30, and 40. And look at the line. All right, look at the dark line. Okay, let me just erase. Okay, let me just erase this part. All right, and so that I can see more clearly. So where is the dark line touching on the protractor? It is touching on this side. And what number is that? Well, you have to follow the line is touching 40. All right, so the angle is 40 degrees. Okay, so this is very important, because when you go to primary 5, primary 6, you need to use your protractor to construct angles. All right, so you need to know how to, you need to know which side of the protractor to look at. All right, how about angle M and K? Now, again, you are looking at the angle near the middle letter, which is here. Right, that's the angle, and it forms an L shape. So immediately, which side do you look at, or which 0 do you look at? Do you look at the 0 over here, or do you look at the 0 over here? Now, you should be looking on the right side, because the angle is formed by two lines, and this line is on the right side. So you should be looking at the 0 on the right side. And you count 0, 20, 30, 40, and so on, and it's touching the longer line, which is 90 degrees. So your angle is 90. Okay? Alright, next one. How about PQR? Now, PQR, so where is the angle now? The angle is between the two straight lines. So you should be looking at the two dark lines or two straight lines, and the angle is in between, right? In between here. So that's the angle that you're looking for. Okay? And which 0 do you look at now? Now, you do not look at the 0 here. Why? Because there is no, because the straight line is not on this side. Where is the dark straight line? Over here, right? This is the line, okay, that forms an angle with this line, right? With this line. So you should be looking at the 0 where one of the two lines, which is on the same side as one of the two lines. Okay, now, so once you recognize the correct 0, then you start counting. So 0, 10, 20, 30, and so on. Keep counting, and then you come to the the dark line. Okay, let me just erase this part so you can see more clearly. Let me erase this. All right, so if you notice carefully, you can see that this dark line is not touching this line. Can you see this line? The line is not really touching, right? It's about 1 degree, all right, 1 degree more, right? 1 degree more. So if you look at, okay, let me use my highlighter. Okay, if you look at the shorter line here, what is the angle? The angle is actually 125 degrees. It's between 120 and 130. So in the middle, that's 125, right? And but the line, the longer line, is not touching the 125. It's actually 1 degree more than 125. All right. So, and how do you know that? Well, you may have to use your protractor to see, right? Because I think on this picture, you don't really see the very small lines. It's not quite clear. So what happened is the angle that if you use a protractor to measure, the angle should be how many? Should be 126 degrees. So angle PQR is actually 126 degrees. Okay, all right, or let me just use my protractor. Let me just bring out my protractor, and then perhaps you can see more clearly. All right, so let me just bring down, and yes, okay, now, so this is my protractor, which looks better than the diagram. Okay, now let me just try to put it, let me see, where's, okay, where is the, maybe somewhere like that. Okay, so what angle is that? Okay, well, it's not drawn to scale. Okay, not drawn to scale. Okay, so I can't put it onto the drawing because the drawing is not exactly drawn to scale. Okay, so let me just show you over here. Okay, let me just show you, all right, how to read the protractor. Okay, so if I were to place my protractor on this side, now what you're looking on the diagram is between 125 and 1 is between 120 and 130. So you're looking at this you're looking at the angle between 120 and 130. So which is somewhere here. Okay, I can't really draw. Okay, all right, so that is your 125 degrees. So the dark lines, all right, the straight lines over here that you see is actually, right, actually what? Actually not touching 125. It's actually touching 1 degree more than 125. So how do you recognize the angle? Now 125 is here. Okay, this is your 125, and your 126. Where is your 126? Your 126 will be one line after that. Okay, can you see the one line after that, right? Not very nice, but it's one line after that. That's your 126. All right, 126. All right, how do you know it's 126? Because 125 is the longer line. All right, 125 is the longer line. All right, 125 is this longer line, and then your 126 is just after. Then you follow 127, 128, 129, and then this is your 130. Okay, 130. Okay, so maybe a bit hard to understand what Mr. Wang is saying because you can't really see the physical protractor. Okay, but let's do a few more, and then hopefully you know how to use the protractor to measure. Okay, let's look at a few more first. So what is angle PQR? So angle PQR is 126 degrees. Okay, all right. So you can see why it takes this lesson will take a bit longer because of trying to show you how to measure the angle. All right, so angle PQR is 126 degrees because you can see the dark line is after, right? It's after the shorter, right? Is after, right? Okay, it's after the shorter line, right? The shorter line here. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's go on to the next one. Okay, now, okay, use the line AB given below and draw an angle at point A, which is 130 degrees above the line. Okay, so this is angle construction. So you have a line AB given to you. So how do you draw 135 degrees, which is above? Means you have to draw an angle that's above, not below. Okay, so let's take out our protractor. So you put your protractor, right? Can you see the end of the, all right, the starting point of the line? You put the center point of the protractor onto the starting point of the line, and make sure that the baseline of the protractor is touching or is sitting on the AB, the line AB. Okay, so if you look at how I do, the center point of the protractor is touching the starting point of the line, and the baseline of the protractor. What is baseline? The baseline is, okay, the baseline is what? The baseline is the line where the zeros are being, okay, where the lines crosses a zero. All right, that's the baseline. Okay, the baseline. Okay, so the baseline has to sit onto the line AB, and then you look for 135 degrees. So where do you start? Where do you look at the zero? You look at the zero at the right side because the AB is on the right side of the protractor. So you look for 135. So 135 degrees will be here. All right, here. Okay, something like this. Okay, 135. Okay, so and then once you have found the angle, put a little marking. All right, a little marking, and then after that, use your ruler. All right, there should be no freehand. All right, you can't use freehand to draw. You need to use a ruler. And then what do? Take your ruler and then draw a straight line that cuts through the marking and also cuts through the starting point of the line. Okay, and that is your angle already, right? Your angle, and whatever extended line or whatever line that is not necessary, you just erase it. And after you have drawn this line, what do? You need to mark out the angle. So this is your angle, right? And that will be 135 degrees. So you need to mark out the angle. Okay, and that's it, right? That's how you draw this angle, which is 135 degrees above the line, which is AB. Okay, let's go to another example. Now draw a horizontal line XY. Okay, so how do you draw a horizontal line XY? Now again, your ruler. Alright, so you need to use your ruler, and then you draw a horizontal line, not too long, not too long. Okay, horizontal line, and you need to call the line XY, and then you need to draw an angle at point Y. So your angle must start at point Y, which is 165 degrees above the line. So once again, where is your baseline of the protractor? The baseline is where is the horizontal line where the zero or where the line touches a zero. Right? So if you see, okay, I can't really show you on the screen. So so it's not the bottom of the protractor. It is actually the horizontal line that crosses the zero, that touches the zero and the 180 degrees. That is the baseline. And you put the center part of the protractor onto the end of the line, which is Y. All right, at the point, where the point. All right, put the center point of the protractor at this, right, at the end of the XY. Okay, once you have done that, what do? Then you look for 165 degrees, and which zero, all right, which side of the zero do you look at? You should be looking on the left side, because why? Because your XY is on the left side of the protractor, right? Can you see that? Your XY is on the left side of the protractor, so you look at the zero on the left side and look for 165 degrees, which is somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. Okay, that's your 165 degrees. Okay, then after that, what do? Put a little marking. Once you found the 165 degrees, you need to put a marking there, a small little marking. And then after that, you need to just adjust your ruler, and what do? Make sure the ruler crosses through the marking, and it has to also touch the end of the XY, right? The ending point of the line. And once your ruler is fixed or is placed nicely, then you just draw a straight line that cuts, right? That cuts through the marking and also touch the XY. Okay, and then that's your two lines. Okay, the two lines that you form. Okay, now I need to erase away that Y. Okay, the Y looks a bit okay, not so nice. Okay, let's erase this Y, and let's try again. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, let me just undo a little bit. Okay, let me just erase that Y. Okay, because the Y is caught up with the line. Okay, like this. Okay, and then you should put your Y somewhere which is a bit okay, a bit clearly seen, and then draw. Alright, then draw again, and yep. Alright, that is how you should be drawing the angle. And then once you have drawn the two lines, you need to draw the angle, the curved line the curved line that is formed by two straight lines, and then you label 165 degrees. Okay, and that is how you draw an angle at point Y. So your angle must be near point Y, and it has to be above the XY, right, the line XY. Okay, let's go down quickly and let's draw a line CD. So now you have another line to draw. So always use a ruler, no freehand, otherwise you minus mark. So again, use a ruler, draw a straight line, and then label CD. Okay, maybe I should put the C a little bit lower and CD. Alright, and draw an angle at point D, which is 60 degrees. So place your ruler, okay, place your ruler at point D, the end of point D, alright, the end. And the center point, alright, sorry, place the protractor, alright, not ruler. Place the center point of the protractor onto point D, alright, and the baseline of the protractor must sit onto the line CD, right? It must sit onto the line that you draw. And then look for angle 60. So which zero do you look at? You look at the zero on the left side, right? Because the line that you draw is on the left side of the protractor, right? Can you see? Right, it's on the left side, not on the right side. Okay, then look for 60 degrees, which is over here, right? Not so, that's 61. Okay, so that's 60 degrees. All right, 60 degrees is somewhere here, right? Okay, let me try again. All right, 60 degrees. Okay, okay, something like that. Okay, or can I use this thing? Let me see. Okay, let me just try again. 60 degrees is actually here. All right, 60 degrees. 60 and yeah, okay, it's here. Okay, something like that. 60 degrees. Okay, so that's your 60 degrees. So I should erase. Okay, erase this part. Okay, so there's your 60 degrees. Okay, and okay, and then what do we do? I can't. Okay, all right, never mind. 60 degrees. Okay, so let's just draw 60 degrees. Okay, hang on. Yeah, 60 degrees. Okay, all right. So do when you use your physical protractor, I think it's easier, right? Easier. I'm using a digital protractor. All right, so it's a bit hard. Okay, once you have marked out the 60 degrees, what do? Then you have to place your ruler. Okay, and it has to cut through the marking, and it has to also cut through the point D, right? Point D. Okay, so let me just remove the ruler, and okay, something like this, and yes, okay, something like this. Okay, make sure you can you cut through the marking, and you also cut through the point D. All right, so it's something like this. Okay, yeah, that's nice. So that is your angle 60 degrees, which is formed by two straight lines, and you need to mark out the curve, right? And then you need to show the 60 degrees, and that's it, right? That's how you draw. And of course, keep your drawing neat and tidy. You can see that the line is too long, so you just erase a little bit. Okay, right? And you get your full marks. Okay, so that's how you construct angles. Okay, let's quickly go to the next one. All right, oh, there is 30 minutes already. Okay, I think it will take about less than 1 hour. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Half of a complete turn. Okay, now we look at how to play with angles. All right, what is half of a complete turn? Now I'm going to draw. Okay, I'm going to draw a cross. Okay, a cross. Right, a cross. Now, if you turn one complete round, that is a full turn. Right, a full turn. Now, if you turn just like that, that is a 1/4. Okay, 1/4 turn. All right, this is a full turn. Okay, full turn, or one round. Okay, one round. And if you turn like that, all right, that is your half a turn. All right, half of a complete turn. All right, a full turn is like a complete turn. If you turn like that, that is a 3/4 of a complete turn. So a full turn is a complete turn. Then you have half, you have 1/4 and 3/4. So if you see half a complete turn, then how many degrees is that? It is actually 180, right? Because it looks like a protractor. So half a complete turn is 180 degrees. 3/4 of a complete turn is actually how many? Well, let's look at a quarter turn. Now, if you notice, a quarter turn is like a right angle, which is actually 90 degrees, and half a turn is 2 right angle, or a protractor. It looks like a protractor, so that's your 180 degrees. So 3 complete turn will be 3 right angle, and that will be 270 degrees. And if it's a complete turn, then that will be 360 degrees. Okay, so 3/4 of a complete turn, 270, and one complete turn is 360. Okay, one complete turn is 360. And what is 1.5 of a complete turn? How does it look like? Now, first of all, you have one turn first. Okay, one complete turn. So that will be 360, one complete turn, which is one whole, right? And then you have half a complete turn. So half a complete turn can be like that as well. So that will be 180 degrees. And then you plus them together. What is 1.5 of a complete turn? So you plus them together. Okay, maybe I should not do this way. Alright, so you should take 360 plus 180, right? So 360 plus 180 degrees. So that will be 540 degrees. So 1.5 of a complete turn is 540. How about two complete turns? Two complete turns means you have one round, one full turn, which is 360 plus another full turn. So that will be another 360. So that will be 720 degrees. Okay? Alright. Now, how many right angles make up 270 degrees? Alright, first of all, how to know what is a right angle? Right angle means it is 90 degrees. So you just take 270 divided by 3. So you have 3 right angles. Right? 3 right angles make up 270 degrees. Okay? Right? And how to show? This is one right angle, which is a quarter turn. Then there is another quarter, and then you have another quarter. So isn't that 90, 90, right? And 90. So you have three quarters, right? 3 90s. Okay, let's go down to the next one. How about 5 right angles? So you just take 90, which is one right angle, and you times 5, right? 5 right angle, and that will give you 450 degrees. So you need to know how to recognize the fractions. Okay, all right, now let's quickly go down to the next one. Okay, now this part is very important. You will see that in your PSLE. All right, of course in P4 as well. Ali is standing in the middle of the classroom. He is facing the classroom, so he's facing here. Okay, now the music room is what of Ali. Now usually you will see the word of. What does the word of mean? It means that the is from, right? It means that the music room is from Ali. It means from Ali, right? From Ali. If he wants to go to the music room, then which direction must he face? Alright, before we can even answer the question, you need to know your 8-point compass, which is important. 8-point compass. So you have your north, south, west, and east. Okay? So usually students get confused with the east and the west, right? Or west and the east. They don't know which directions to put. But just remember, we, W-E, right? We. North is always on top, south is below. And then there's an 8-point compass. Alright, there's another 2 lines which are diagonal, and this is your northwest, your northeast, this is your southeast, and this is your southwest. Alright, so from Ali, if he wants to go to the music room, which direction is that? So it is going this direction, which is northwest. Okay, so Ali is in the middle, right? It's in the middle. Ali is here, right? For example, it's here in the middle. So he wants to go to the music room. So he must go northwest. So the music room is northwest from Ali. So in your exam question, you will always see the word of. So of is also from. So how do you interpret? It means that you start from Ali, where Ali is standing. Alright, from Ali means from the place that Ali is standing. Where is he? How is he going to the music room, or which direction must he take to go to the music room? He must go in the northwest direction. Okay, the what is east from Ali. So from Ali, from where he's standing, you go east, right? You go east, which is over here, right? So what is at the east? What do you see at the east? You will see office, right? So the office is east. Okay, east from Ali. Okay, all right. Now let's look at a few more examples. The basketball court is what of Ali? So you start from Ali, all right? It's always you start from Ali, and you go to the basketball court. What direction is that? So you look at the basketball court, which is here, right? So from Ali, he wants to go to the basketball court. So which direction must he go? He has to go in the southwest direction. So from Ali, right, from Ali's position, he has to go in the southwest direction. So the basketball court is southwest of Ali. All right, next one. The what is northeast of Ali? Northeast. So can you look for northeast? Northeast is here, right? Northeast. So what is at the northeast direction? So that is the sick bay. So the sick bay is northeast from Ali. All right, sick bay. Got it? Sick bay. It means from Ali position. If he wants to go to in the northeast direction, what do you see? You will see the sick bay. So the sick bay is northeast from Ali. Okay, the what is north from Ali? So again, you start from Ali, all right, and then you go north. So what do you see at the north? You see the classroom, right? If you go north, right, you will see the classroom. Okay, so the classroom is north from Ali. Classroom. So usually, how do I make it easy for my students to understand? The word of is like from. From means what? You always start from somewhere and you go to another place. So you start from Ali and where you want to go, or which direction do you want to go? You want to go in the north direction. So what is in the north? That is the classroom. Now the football field is what from Ali? So you look at the football field and he wants to go to the football field. So from Ali's position, which direction must he go? He must go in the south direction to go to the football field. So the football field is south from Ali. Okay, so that's how you interpret. All right, how to find directions and how you interpret the word of. And the word of is very important because students always get confused and they make a lot of mistakes when you have questions like this. All right, so take note so that you get all the marks from this type of questions. Okay, now we look at the 8-point compass. All right, and before we again answer the questions, you must know what is clockwise, what is anti-clockwise. Clockwise means you follow the clock. How the clock is moving, you follow the clock direction. Anti-clockwise is going back. That is your anti-clockwise. Okay, so again, how to not get confused? When you see clockwise, means you just follow the clock. How the clock move, you follow. Anti-clockwise means you go back. You turn back. Okay, so again, you are facing southwest. Let's look at number 1. You are facing southwest. So here, right, facing southwest. If you turn through an angle of 90 in the clockwise, so where will you be facing? So you're facing here, right? So you turn 90. So you turn a right angle. 90 degrees is always a right angle, which is a quarter turn, right? Quarter turn. So what direction will you be facing? You are facing northwest. Okay? So a right angle is always a quarter. Okay, quarter turn. Let's go to number 2. You are facing northwest. If you turn an angle of 270, which is 3 right angle, so you have 3/4 turn, right? 3/4 turn in the anti-clockwise direction. So where will you be facing? Okay, let's look at northwest. Where is northwest? Northwest is you are now facing northwest, right? Over here, facing northwest, and you are going to turn anti-clockwise. So I'm going to use a different color. Anti-clockwise, 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. So there's a 3/4 turn in the anti-clockwise, and you are now facing northeast, right? So that's your answer, northeast. So that's anti-clockwise, going back. Okay, let's go to next one. You are facing east, right? East. If you turn an angle of how many degrees in the anti-clockwise, you will be facing southwest. So from east, you want to go southwest. Okay, where's east? Okay, so let me just erase all this. Okay, let's erase all this drawing. So you are at east and you want to go southwest. Okay, so what do we do? You are at east and you want to go southwest, which is here, and you need to turn anti-clockwise. So which means that you turn 1/4. Okay, 1/4 is actually a right angle. You turn another right angle, which is another 90, and then you have to turn half a right angle. Can you see that it's a half a right angle? Right? So what is half a right angle? So that is 90 divided by 2, which is actually 45 degrees. So you have a half a right angle. Right? Okay, so how many degrees must you turn from the east direction to the southwest? So you can see that you actually turn half a circle. You turn like from here, you turn, right, you turn half a circle, or two right angles. So you have 90 plus 90, right? 90 plus 90, and then you plus 45 degrees, right? 90, 90, and 45. So how many degrees do you turn? You turn 245, 200 and how many? 25 degrees, right? 90 plus 90 plus 45. So which means that if you turn through an angle of 225 degrees in the anti-clockwise, you'll be facing southwest. Okay, southwest, which is over here. Okay, so let me just go through this one more time. Let me just erase all this. Okay, erase all this so that you understand what I'm saying. So you are, okay, so where are you? Okay, hang on. Okay, so you are at east direction and you are going to turn clockwise to face what? To face the southwest direction. So you're going to turn 90 plus 90 plus half a right angle, and that's how you get 225 degrees. Okay, now let's go down a bit. Now you're facing south. If you turn an angle of 270 degrees in the what direction, you'll be facing west. So from south, you want to go west. Right, from south, you go west. Okay, so let's look for south, and then let's go to west. So which means that you are here, right, south. And you want to go to the west, okay, the west. So which direction do you turn? Clockwise, anti-clockwise, if you want to turn an angle of 270. So this is how you turn. If you turn like this, oh, that's very fast. That's a quarter turn, which is not 270 degrees. So you need to turn anti-clockwise, right, anti-clockwise. Okay, so let's turn anti-clockwise and see whether is it 270 degrees. So you have one right angle, another right angle, another right angle. So you have three right angles. So that'll be 90 times 3, 270 degrees. And what direction is that? That is your anti-clockwise direction. So you need to turn in the anti-clockwise. Okay, anti-clockwise direction. Okay, coming to the end soon. Now you're facing southeast, right? Facing southeast. If you turn through an angle of 315 degrees in the what direction? You'll be facing east. Now what happens if the angle gets too big? Like for example, 270 degrees is quite a big number. You break up into simple numbers like 90 degrees, 180 degrees, or even 270 degrees, okay? But I can break up into 90 plus 90. So you break up the big number into smaller, simple numbers. Like for example, 315 degrees. Can I break up into something that easier to recognize? 90 plus 90 plus 90, all right? And then plus half a right angle, which is 45 degrees. That's one way. Or you can also break up in this way, 180, then you plus 90, and then you plus 45. So that is easier for you to move. Okay, so you break up into common numbers. What are common numbers? 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 180 degrees. These are common numbers, right? Usually, we will break up into all these three types of numbers if the angle is very big. Got it? Okay, then let's try to move. Now you're facing southeast, and you turn an angle of 315 degrees in what direction? And then you will face east. Okay, let's look at southeast. Southeast. Okay, I'm going to use a red color. So southeast is here, and you want to come to east. So, and you want to turn 315 degrees in what direction? Is it anti-clockwise? If you turn anti-clockwise, that is half a right angle, which is only 45 degrees. You want 315 degrees. So anti-clockwise is wrong. So you need to turn what direction? You need to turn right angle 90 plus 90 plus 90 and plus 45. So 90, 90, 90, and 45, right? And if you look at what you have written at the simple numbers that you have written, can you see 90, 90, 90, and 45? So when you turn, right, turn in this manner, then what happened? Then you will face the east, right, the east direction. All right. So which direction must you turn? That is clockwise. So you need to turn in the clockwise direction. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's go on to the last page. All right, and the time is 45 minutes, so we overshot by a lot. Okay, now the last page is something different. No need to measure angles, right? No need to use a ruler to look for right angles. The information is all given in the question. So let's look at this one. Now, if you see a square, there will always be right angles at the corners. Very important, right? This will help you in primary 5 as well when you do more angles. So when you see a square, squares always have right angles. And not only that, okay, not only that. Now I'm going to show you something very important. If there is a square and there's a right angle at the corner, and if you cut the square into two half, all right, two identical half, okay, let me just draw a bit nicely. Right, so you have a square and a right angle at the corners, and if you cut the square nicely into two halves, you cut the right angle into half as well, which means that each side of the right angle, like this is 45 and this is also 45. Now this is a very important property. So when you see a square and you see a line that cut it into two triangles that look equal, then you cut the right angle into half. Okay, now the figure shows a square and you have angle ABC. So what is the sum of angle ABC? So of course angle A plus angle B plus angle C, they will form a right angle, which is 90. So the sum is 90 degrees. Okay, all right, now let's look at rectangle. Now rectangle is the same as squares. You also have right angles at the corner. All right, right angles at the corners, but it's different from a square because if you cut the rectangle into half, do you cut the right angle into half as well? No, you do not cut the right angle into half. Only for squares, then you cut the right angle into half. All right, why? Why? Because the square has all equal sides, right? All equal side, and when you cut the square into half, you cut 45, and here is also 45. But rectangle has not all equal side. So when you cut the rectangle into two triangles, you will find that this angle is actually smaller than this angle, right? So the two angles are not the same, right? So they are different. Okay, so what is angle X in this figure? Now, there's a right angle, which is 90 degrees. So your angle X will be 90 degrees minus 52, and you will get 38 degrees. So angle X is 38 degrees. Okay, got it? All right, now let's look at one last example. Now you have a rectangle and angle X is twice the size of angle Y. So twice means two times. So what I would like to do is, I would like to put units. X is 2 units and Y is 1 unit. So every time you see twice, your model drawing comes in. But over here is an angle, this is an angle question. So we don't need to draw model, but you still need to write down the units. So angle X has 2 units, angle Y has 1 unit. And again, there's a right angle that is formed at the corner. So which means that if you add up all the angles, like 36 degrees plus 1 unit plus 2 unit, that'll be 3 unit, right? And that will add up together to give you a right angle, 90 degrees. Then what is 3 unit? 3 unit will be 90 minus 36, which is 54 degrees. Then you can find 1 unit, which is 54 divided by 3, that will be 18 degrees. And then can you find angle X? Angle X has 2 units, so your 2 units will be 18 and then you times 2. And that's how you get 36 degrees. So what's the lesson over here for this final part of the lesson? Now the lesson over here is you will have squares and rectangles. And if you see angles in squares and rectangle, you just have to know there are right angles at the corners of squares and also rectangles. And not only that, if you have a square, all right, this is important. If you have a square, all right, and this is for harder problems, and if you see a right angle in the squares and the square is cut into two identical parts, then you are cutting the right angle into 45 and 45 as well. All right, that only works for squares. Okay, all right, finally we come to the end of the concept lesson on angles. So it's one of the longest lesson, but hopefully by now you understand how to construct angles, how to recognize right angle, acute, obtuse, and how to measure angles, how to construct angles, and what are the properties of squares and rectangle. What we are doing in this last part of the lesson is to look at properties of squares and rectangles regarding angles, right? For example, squares, rectangle, they have right angles at the corners, right? This is a property that you must know. Okay, so we come to the end of this lesson, and so in the next lesson on the concept mastery, we will look at something else, a different topic, and then hopefully we can move on to primary 5 topics in a few weeks time, right? But I think we will need a few more weeks, all right, a few more weeks to finish up the topics on P4. All right, P5 topics are going to be a lot, right? A lot of P5 topics, so it will take about a few months to finish up all the P5 topics before we can go into the P6 topics. All right, so I'll see you on next Tuesday for the next concept mastery lesson.